What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of U4 Demon Slayer Season 3. This is episode 9, and with me, as always, I have Blue Spade.
So continuing where the last episode leaves us off, we see Muichiro still fighting against the upper rank demon. What was it? Gyoko. I so pretty much Muichiro during this fight. I guess in a way he learned from in some parts of the previous episode that he manages to insult Gyoko's artwork or his vase work, and this pretty much succeeds with Gyoko being provoked to attack Muichiro, and it gets to the point where Gyoko reveals his true form, which is a form of like a giant, large merman demon thing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not really sure how else to describe it.
Yeah, it's just pretty much, it's I guess his abilities is if he ends up physically touching something, it'll end up turning into little fishes, which is kind of a weird looking attack. But throughout the entire fight, Muichiro just mainly provokes him into attacking him. So Muichiro ends up using his mist art abilities to, I guess, conceal himself or disguise himself among the different versions of himself, to the point where he manages to behead and kill Gyoko.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was a pretty good fight, I guess. And then we have this one, and then we also have the other fight going on with Tanjiro and
actually, what happens after the fight with Muichiro? He ends up passing out due to the poison's effects. Yeah. And then of course what happens afterwards? Supposedly he ends up going into the afterlife and seeing his dead parents and his brother Yuichiro, who I guess they end up thanking him for all he's done or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just kind of wasn't it like he wakes up and he sees like his brother's corpse lying in front of him or something, and then they
oh yeah, we also see the events of what happened after that. He supposedly he's been with his brother's side soon after he died, but his brother is, of course, body was already decomposing at the time, and not only his brother, but also like his wounds were starting to fill with maggots to the point where he nearly dies from infection. So the Demon Slayer headmaster's wife ends up coming in to save him at nearly the last minute.
Yeah. So they kind of like bring him back to, they kind of heal him, and I think it eventually like end up training him. It kind of like shows what happened after his brother and his family was killed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and soon after that, we also see Kotetsu, who was saved by Muichiro from one of the fish demons. He gives what was it? Rengoku's like Suba, which is like the katana guard that he used to own before he died. And of course, this reminds with Muichiro about his time with Rengoku back then, and of course he ends up losing consciousness afterwards.
Yeah, I don't know if you noticed too, but it seems like Muichiro's eyes kind of changed at some point. Like they look kind of different than they did initially. Like I think initially they looked sort of like, I guess, empty, and now they I guess a certain point in the fight they kind of look they looked a little bit different.
Yeah, I mean before then, like he was mostly an amnesiac person who had no memories of what happened before this, but ever since talking with Tanjiro and his experience at fighting Gyoko, those memories eventually end up coming back. Yeah. And now he he pretty much remembers his whole past life, including his time with his brother as well. So I guess is this in a way this brings back the old Muichiro from his past self.
Yeah, I guess it's supposed to be symbolic of that.
Yeah. But yeah, like you said earlier, we finally go back to Tanjiro after several episodes, and he's still fighting against the hatred demon. And it gets to the point where he's struggling to the point where he I guess in a way his eardrums end up bursting due to one of the dragon's attacks, or dragon demon's attacks.
Yeah. Yeah, so we also finally get I keep forgetting her name. The Mitsuri finally joins, and sort of like joins the fight.
Yeah. She ends up joining as soon as Tanjiro supposedly gets eaten by one of those dragons, but fortunately Mitsuri arrives in time to get him out of there. And so pretty much the episode ends off with Mitsuri getting ready to fight the hatred demon and his dragons.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of interested to see what exactly, like, we kind of get more of a sense of, I guess, of Mitsuri's abilities with that weird sword that she has. It's kind of like a whip and a sword, I guess. As it sort of like attaches to things, and she uses it like a whip, and it attaches to different things, and she can move it around. I thought that was kind of interesting.
Yeah, it almost reminds me of like those ribbon gymnastics sort of thing, in which she dances around and twirling it like one of those like those dancing ribbons of sorts. Yeah,
something like that. But yeah, it was I thought it was a decent episode. Yeah, we did get, of course, a little bit more with the Moichiro, and I'm mostly kind of interested in seeing what Mitsuri can do, and some of her other abilities, because we mostly have been focusing on Moichiro and his backstory, and especially since this season is it kind of has her as one of the main characters too. I mean, her and Moichiro. So I guess probably in the next episode we'll probably get more about her. We do have some information about her, but I mean, just not. They haven't really gone into like her whole they haven't exactly gone into her backstory. I mean, she said she has told us like why she joined the Demon Slayer Corps, but I feel like there's of course probably more to it than that.
Yeah, I mean, we did get some little hints of that during the opening and ending credits, but yeah, it was an all right episode. But if I have to be completely honest, I think Gyoko is one of the most underwhelming upper rank demons I've ever seen.
You mean the
pod?
Yeah, he was just kind of there. I mean, he didn't really. It feels like he's not as, I guess, important as the other one that they're, or the I forget which rank it was, but the other upper rank demon they're fighting.
Now he's the hatred demon.
Yeah, the hatred demon. It seems like they're kind of like, I guess they're sort of like supposed to be the main antagonists of the season. But I don't know. It could be. I mean, do we still not know what the episode count of this is of season 3?
No, they still haven't told us about that, unless
it could be that there's some other, that there is maybe like another villain that maybe could potentially show up at some point. But I mean, I guess until that happens, I'm assuming that it's the hatred demon at this point.
Yeah, we're already at 9 episodes.
Yeah,
the last, what was it? The Entertainment District arc 11. Was 11 episodes, if you're not counting the Mugen Train re-release. I would assume, I could assume that we only have maybe about 3 more episodes at most, because I don't I don't know. It's possible it could be 13, 14 episodes at most, because
Yeah.
it seems like we're already getting close to the end at this point.
Yeah, I guess we'll have to see. But yeah, I thought it was a fairly decent episode. Like I said, I'm just looking forward to seeing Mitsuri some more. But I don't really have too much else to say about it. I don't know if you have anything
Yeah.
else to say.
Yeah, I mean, I did like Muichiro's backstory, but the way the fight ended with Gyoko was kind of underwhelming for me, because it didn't have as much impact as as the last two upper rank demons we've seen
Yeah.
in both Mugen Train and Entertainment District arc. I mean, Entertainment District, the fight with Daki and Gyutaro, that had much bigger impact near the end compared to this one.
Well, yeah. I mean, I would say it took up more than pretty much the remainder of the season.
Yeah, I mean, same thing with this one. I mean, we already got started with with the upper rank demon fights, I think by the third or fourth episode. But yeah, overall, I mean, we'll have to see where the hatred demon thing goes, but I just feel like they're not. I don't know. I don't feel like they're as impactful as, as Daki and Gyutaro were, and
Yeah.
not to mention we still have Akaza, Doma, and then there's that swordsman demon with the 6 eyes. Soon after that, I could assume they're gonna be obviously gonna be the toughest upper rank demons that they're gonna have to contend with soon after this one.
Yeah, probably. But yeah, I mean, I do agree that these villains are fairly weak in comparison to Gyutaro and Daki. But I feel like the reason for that too, at least, is that we kind of got to find out more about Gyutaro and Daki. And also, like when Daki was first introduced in season 2, I feel like there was more build up to her because they were like talking a lot about her, and we kind of got some information about who she was. And then later on, of course, we find out Gyutaro shows up, and we find out who he is, and his about who how they got turned into demons, which
Yeah.
But here it's just not
I mean,
really.
yeah,
We don't really get anything like that.
yeah. Gyoko just immediately gets his head cut off, and then cut to pieces soon after that, and we don't get anything else after that. Well, it's kind of unfortunate we don't get to see or learn much about Gyoko, but I don't know. He feels like kind of more of a throwaway villain in this arc, if anything.
Mhm.
I don't know if there's anything else going on with the hatred demon, if he has a kind of a backstory with his. I guess you could say his default form is his more cowardly form of sorts. Maybe there might be some kind of backstory to that, but it's not. It's really hard to tell. So.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll have to see where it goes from here, but obviously we were going to get some kind of backstory from Mitsuri soon, pretty soon, I guess, by the next episode, which is, of course, named after her.
Yeah, probably. But yeah, guys, that all being said, until next time, we will see you all later.